Welcome to this lesson. We're going to learn how to graph a quadratic function in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. In our case, we have y is 3x squared minus 6x plus 2, which means a is 3, b is negative 6, c is 2. Once we got to know our ABC, we can start to answer the first question. Our step 1 is the graph, the parabola, gonna be open upward or open downward? Recall previous knowledge you learned. A is greater than 1, the graph gonna open upwards. A is less than 1, the graph gonna open downwards. In this case, A is 3, so our graph gonna be opening upwards, which means later when we find the vertex is the minimum value. Now, step 2, we're going to find axis of symmetry. Remember, axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. Let us substitute. Negative b is negative 6. 2 times a is 3. Negative and negative give us positive. 6 over 2 times 3, that is 1. So axis of symmetry is x is 1. Once we find the axis of symmetry is x is 1, we can put down 1 right here. And now we're going to find the other part of this coordinate pair of our vertex. So all we need to do is we're going to substitute when we say x and we say this is 1. Okay? All right, let's plug it in. X is 1 and x is 1 right here. Let's calculate. 1 squared is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 6 times 1, that's 6, plus 2. 3 minus 6, negative 3, plus 2, negative 1. All right, we found the vertex is 1, negative 1. Now we know the graph going to be opening upwards. We know the axis of symmetry because we can, once we graph on the one side, the other side we can fold and trace just like when you are doing your artwork. And we also know the vertex. However, we need 2 more points. Suggestion is you're going to choose 2 x values that is less than the x coordinate of the vertex. In this case, our x coordinate of the vertex is 1. If we choose 2 x values that is less than 1, we can consider negative 1 and 0. Now, let's plug in. When x is negative 1, what do we have for the y coordinate? So this is what we do. We're going to plug in x is negative 1. And don't forget, here's a square. And next one is we're going to do the same thing when x is 0. And here's a square. And plug it in. All right, a little bit of calculation here, and this gives us, we have a 11. And this is 0, 3 times 0, that's 0, minus 6 times 0, that is 0, and plus 2, that gives us 2. And then put down here, when x is negative 1, y is 11. When x is 0, y is 2. And now we can write down our 2 points. The first point is negative 1 and y is 11. And next point, x is 0 and y is 2. Now, look at how much information we got. We know the direction, the opening of this graph. And we know the axis of symmetry. We know the vertex. We also have 2 more points. Now, you can pull out your graph paper, go ahead and plot all this information on your graphing paper, and you will have a beautiful parabola for this function. For me, I'm going to try my favorite GeoGebra. To save your time, I already insert this function and the graph already formed for us. As you can see, earlier we found that axis of symmetry is x is 1. So the one I'm tracing right now, that's x is 1. And this point is called vertex. As you can see, the vertex says 1, -1. It also says the word extremum. Extremum means, sometimes extremum means maximum value. Sometimes extremum means minimum value. In this case, it's a minimum because it's like a valley. It is at the lowest point of the valley. What is this point? You see here, I'm going to click this point. This point is called y-intercept. It says 0, 2. How do we find y-intercept? You see this form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Your y-intercept is always 0, c. Even without graphing, we can say it immediately. Just by looking at this function, we can say the y-intercept is 0, c. c is 2, so it's 0, 2. All right, let's look at these 2 points. These two points right on the x-axis. It's zeros of the function. And here tells us its roots. Okay, we have 2 roots here. What is that? We're going to talk about it in our future lesson very soon. Happy learning!